Welcome to our first edition of DPS on the Move. My name is Casimiro. I'm the superintendent of the Danbury Public Schools. Today's episode is the first video in a series where we're going to be trying to celebrate the positive things that are happening in the Danbury Public Schools. We'll have a leadership series, a teacher series, an educator series, and a student series. And so this is the first episode of our leadership series. I'm very excited today to be here with our principal leaders, particularly at our K-5. And we're going to spend some time learning about some of the great things that have been happening in their school, particularly around student growth and achievement. And so we were very excited this year to have 4 schools of distinction, and we'd like to talk a little bit about what work went into that distinction, what work went into the work with the staff, the leadership moves that they've made, and overall how things are going. So we're excited to have 4 of our principals here today. I'm going to ask each one to go around and introduce themselves, their school, a little bit about how big this school is, and we'll get started on our discussion soon. Okay.
Hi, my name is Merle Jackson. I'm the principal of Western Connecticut Academy for International Studies. We're kindergarten through 5th grade, Magnet Elementary School.
So for the Magnet Elementary School, what does Magnet mean for us in Danbury?
So for us, we are Interdistrict Magnet School. We have students coming to our school from neighboring towns such as Bethel, Reading, New Milford, New Fairfield, and that's one of the things that makes us unique in Danbury. In addition, we have our magnet focuses on a particular study. For us, it's international studies.
Great.
So our students get to learn about the customs, cultures, traditions from cultures from around the world.
Awesome. And how long have you worked in the district?
This is my 3rd year here.
Okay, great. Okay, next.
So hi, I'm Marnie Durkin. I'm the principal at Ellsworth Avenue School. We have about 475 students in our school. I like to say that our school is very reflective of the Danbury community. I feel like the families really do represent and embrace the culture of Danbury. I've been there for 6 years.
6 years. And how long in the district?
I've been in the district 33 years.
33 years. Okay, so you're like me, I'm 28. So, okay, thanks. Dom.
I'm Dom Pereira. I am the principal at King Street Primary School, which is a K-3 school. Currently, as of this morning, I have 396 students.
Keeps growing.
Keeps growing every day. I just got 3 new students this morning. And King Street, although it's only a K-3, it is quite a large school, and it does have tremendous diversity. I know a lot of people think of King Street as, being out there and in a very, affluent neighborhood. However, we are extremely diverse. About 46% of my students are MLs. This is going on my 3rd year. It'll be my 3rd year at King Street in March and my 27th year here in the district.
Amazing. And you used to work here
I
at
did.
Danbury High School.
Yes, I did.
Okay. Katina.
Hi, my name is Katina Osmani. I'm the principal at Morris Street Elementary School. Morris Street has 342 students. It's kindergarten through 5th grade. This is my 2nd year at Morris Street and my 2nd year in Danbury.
Great. Awesome. Okay. So let's go talk a little bit about the actual distinction that you received in each of your schools. So King Street Primary, you have received a distinction for great improvement. So that meant that your 3rd grade from one year to the next saw great improvement. So because you're not a K-5 school, your growth is measured is not. There's no measurement for growth,
Correct.
But overall improvements are non-cohorted. So I'm going to come back to you in a second. Western Connecticut's Academy of International Studies, you had a distinguished celebration for high performance and high growth in math with your high needs. Morris Street, you had high growth in your math for your high needs students, and Ellsworth, you had high growth and in math as well for your high needs students. So when we see stuff like this, and there's really only a handful of schools in the state that were on that distinguished list, it's a signal to us that something happened in the school. There was a change that was made in the way that we do things that caused either growth or overall improvement. And I just want to get a sense of the strategies that you employed in your school and what that meant for your school. So what did that work look like in your school, and how did you determine what to work on? So maybe we'll start with Merle.
So one of the things we did at AIS, our teachers are amazing. They are really hardworking teachers. They like to collaborate and come together to help support the academic needs of students. One of the things that we noticed as we were analyzing data is that our students were not making enough progress, particularly our students who were high needs.
Right.
We really analyzed the data to see what particular areas they needed that additional support. Something that we noticed was particularly in numbers in operation for those students. Understanding how numbers work together, being fluent in adding and subtracting. So we really took that information and structured our min time to provide targeted small group instruction.
Tell me what min time is.
So min time is an intervention block. It's math I need.
Okay.
So at that moment, students, teachers are providing targeted small group instruction, while the rest of the work is perhaps doing some independent practice independently or with a partner or in a small group. So we really took that time to provide targeted small group instructions in the areas of numbers and operation for students. And have students have the opportunity to play fluency games as well to help really strengthening those skills in fluency.
Lots of
and
practice in that with that
it
target
was
area.
certainly a lot of practice. And when I think about the Tier 1 instruction we provide as well, it was really looking at our lesson plans. So we worked with our math coach, Kristen Ward, to really have lesson studies.
Great.
And that was really helpful working as a grade level team to putting our lessons up and kind of analyzing them and say, where do we think students would get trip up here? What adjustments, what shifts do we have to make based on the students that we have in our class so they could be successful in this lesson?
Awesome. That's terrific. Great. Okay, a lot of work there. Marnie.
Thank you. I just am proud to say that Ellsworth Avenue School has actually been recognized as a school of distinction 4 of the 6 years that I've been there. So I'm incredibly proud of the staff, and I contribute a lot of that into a lot of hard work that goes on day in and day out, and it's the entire school community. It's not the teachers, it's everyone in the school community contributing to the well-being of the students and the expectation of learning for all. One of the things that we did differently last year, as Merle said, reviewing your data and coming up with a plan of action. I was lucky enough to work with my 2 colleagues from Pembroke Elementary and Park Avenue Elementary, and we worked as a cohort under our supervisor, Mr. Chris Roach. And so we were able to have monthly collaborative meetings in which we also had the assistance of district leadership in terms of ML leadership, in terms of SRBI leadership, ELA, math. And so what we were able to do through those meetings was to actually look at instruction from multiple lenses and then put into practice next steps, whether it be through the coaching aspect of it or professional development provided to the teachers to capitalize on the instruction, as Merle mentioned as well. One of the focus for us last year was also the MIN block, which was really that intervention time that targeted students' need. And with some programming that we were provided from the district, we were able to really focus on the individual needs of every student. Right. And so I think that contributed to the growth overall of the students as they progressed. They felt the confidence and the success, and I think that success bred more success, and that's where we got the outcomes that we did.
That's great. I love that. Okay, awesome. Dom.
So just to piggyback on what my colleagues said, similar things, working on looking at the data, really drilling down to figure out where the needs were. Using the teachers' time effectively, meeting with them in PLCs, having conversations, working with the coaches that have been tremendously helpful. For me, it was also getting used to learning the new curriculum at the elementary level. So really understanding, where the ins and outs of math is. In addition to that, my biggest push was creating an environment that was supportive, welcoming, really making those relationships with your students. Because I'm a firm believer, if you don't have a relationship with your child, that child's not going to do anything for you. And so that has been a really big, strong focus that I've had, really building those relationships. And that has really paid off. In addition, the after-school tutoring that we did last year at KSP was tremendous. We used the data to identify the students that we felt could make that growth, that those cuspy kids that really needed that extra push to just get them over the edge. And so we were very specific on who we invited to be part of this after-school program. We had it twice a week. Students were getting what they needed. They learned how to look at the testing questions in a different lens. And so we really, and fluency, again, like that was one of the things that we identified as well. You would walk around the building and kids were doing multiplication fluency and having games about multiplication and doing things just to get them up with their fluency. So there were a lot of different things that we pulled that, added to our success.
That's great. Katina, I would imagine some of the same strategies that you've already heard that you're working on, but what other things have you been doing in your building, and how did you approach your problem of practice with this, and how did you get the growth that made you a school of distinction?
So as my colleagues have mentioned, the Morris Street staff is very dedicated to the students at Morris Street. If you walk through the halls and ask anybody how long they've been there, it's a long time. So they're very dedicated. So something that we did is we focused on the PLC time, and during PLCs, we focused on math. And I brought in the math supervisor to support all of the meetings, and during those meetings, well, prior to those meetings, the teachers would decide if they were using a checkpoint, a cool down, a pre-unit assessment, or end-of-unit assessment, and then deciding based off of the standards which questions were the key questions that we should discuss during the meeting. And then we would break down those questions and decide like which students got it, which students almost had it, and which students not yet. And then look at that and figure out like where their miscues were and what skills we needed to build them up with. And then from there, we would decide like, now what are we going to do next? And we would take that work that we decided for each group and bring it into our min time. And so the teachers would have those structured PLCs with me and the math supervisor, but they also got into a habit of, if those meetings were not happening and they were ready to review another set of data, that they would do it as a team and then restructure their min time. So that really helped build our students up in their math skills.
A lot of all the work that you mentioned takes a lot of oversight and monitoring and nurturing and checking in. And so, these are slow-moving points of progress in school improvement. They need to be fed over time, and they don't happen in isolation. They happen with the work of a lot of your staff. And staff will work when they feel respected and nurtured themselves, and that they have those opportunities to collaborate and to dig into the problems of practice. So I just want to congratulate the four of you for clearly providing the environment for that growth to happen. One of our the goals here in Danbury Public School System is to become the best urban school district in the state of Connecticut. What does that mean for you and to you in your building, and what do you think that that's going to look like for you over the next year or two? And anybody can jump in with that one.
Can I start?
Yeah.
Because I have a really good answer to that. I think we already are the best urban school district in
We're on the
Connecticut.
same page. Okay.
So I think that, being recognized as that is going to be really exciting, because I truly do believe we are going to be able to, what's the word? Officially announce that.
Yep.
Because I do believe that we are the best school district in Connecticut and best urban school in Connecticut, just because of the amazing staff we have throughout the district, the commitment to the community, the commitment to the children. I think that kids come to Danbury schools and they love being there. And I think as administrators, we're lucky to be able to lead that charge every day and really work in collaboration with such a dynamic and wonderful group of people.
Amazing. That's awesome.
And I'm going to agree with Marty. We've been here a couple of years. And so we've seen the trajectory of our district for the past 20 some odd years, and it's always getting better. Like, it's just always getting better. And I know we have a lot of difficulties, budget constraints, issues, but what I see every day are teachers walking in the building with a purpose, with a meaning, and they truly care about the students that are sitting in front of them. And for us to embrace the diversity that we have in Danbury and to take it to the next level and make sure that all these children are given the opportunities that they deserve, that just speaks volumes. And that's truly what we do every day.
I was going to say, I think Dom started with it earlier of like just building those relationships. And once you have those good relationships with your students and you also believe that they can do anything and you challenge them, they'll rise to that occasion. And so a lot of the work that we're doing around like encouraging students to understand their goals and what they need to achieve in order to move to the next level is really going to support our work in becoming the best urban district in Connecticut.
Love it.
It just makes me think of giving students skills for college, career, and life, and also think about Portrait of a Graduate and providing those opportunities for students to be learners, collaborators, advocates, and thinking about the work that we're doing in our building and how can we enhance our students' skills and our practice to ensure that we are teaching these skills to students. And, as far as being collaborators, we're starting there, having students work together and solving problems and coming with solutions, and having events such as our Invention Convention is one way where we're starting to really try to foster those skills in students.
I love it. The best urban district in Connecticut really came up when we were digging into data ourselves too, heading into the school year. It's like looking at ourselves against other similar districts and with similar populations and similar challenges, and we are ranking pretty close to the top in a lot of areas, and it's not going to take much to really push us over the edge in that. So I'm a firm believer as well. But it starts with school leadership, which is the most important. The principal role is one of the most coveted and important roles in making school improvement happen, in having any kind of growth over time. And so I want to thank the four of you for coming on our first episode in our series. We hope to have you back, but I appreciate the work that you're doing in our school system. I appreciate the love that you bring to our kids every day, and the way that you make teaching and learning special and things happen in your school. So thank you for coming today, and I hope to have you back again next year talking about this very same thing. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all for joining us today for our first episode in our leadership series of DPS on the Move. We hope to have several more episodes over the next couple of months, and we are looking forward to seeing you soon. Thank you.